Okay guys, welcome back to a new episode of Thai Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed the last couple of episodes I did from my trip to the Bangkok Avenue Drag Raceway. I thought they were both very interesting and I had a great day there, so check them out. As you can see here, I've done another purchase and I've got some new parts that I want to share with you guys and talk about a little bit first. So as you can see, I've got myself a new front tyre. The one that I have on at the moment is in a really bad state. It's cracked, it looks old, it's worn down, so I thought I'd upgrade to a new tyre. Now this one here is an IRC brand. It's 80 by 90 by 10. These are really good tyres. I have one on the rear, so I thought I'd upgrade and give a little bit of love to that front wheel. Now also, I decided to go ahead and buy some carb cleaner, a little toothbrush there, because I thought I've been having some troubles with my carburetor recently, so I thought I'd give it a clean out, maybe change the jets and see how that goes. Interestingly, I actually had a whole hell of a load of trouble trying to find some carb cleaner over here in Thailand. I don't know why that is, I'm sure it's available, but I certainly had a lot of trouble finding it. Anyway, moving on to the next item that I've bought, I decided to go ahead and upgrade the brakes. I've never upgraded them in the time that I've owned the scooter, so I thought, let's do this. These are only 250 baht each, that's like 6 USD. TWH brakes, I don't think you can go wrong with them, so I thought, let's go ahead and upgrade them. They look pretty decent, and we'll certainly see how they work. So next up, I just decided to purchase a little bit of tubing, because I'm having a bit of an overflow problem with my carburetor, and I need to get that petrol away from the engine and any other hot parts, because that could certainly be quite dangerous. So I decided to purchase this. It was a few hundred baht, nothing major, and should work perfect for routing my fuel overflow line down to the back wheel area. Now of course, as you can see, I've got myself a new supply of gasket paste. This stuff seems pretty good. I was told it's fine for exhausts and engines, so I thought I might as well pick up a tube of that because it comes in handy for all sorts of jobs when working on the Dio. It's just a shame that Honda Bond is not available in Thailand. So next, as you can see, I've got myself some new fuel line and a fuel filter, and on top of that I decided to get some new exhaust studs, because at the moment in my scooter I just have some random bolts, so I thought why not, for the sake of 150 baht, get myself some new studs. And of course, a new Variator. I'm so happy about this. 92mm TWH Variator. So I've been wanting to do this for ages and now finally got round to it. I can't wait to see how it's going to work out. As you can see, the standard TWH sticker. I've got so many of these now, bloody things. And there's the Variator right there, 92mm. You can see you've got some crazy ultra lightweight sliders in there. I don't think anyone would want to run them, so we'll just throw those old things in the bin. Of course, you've got the rear plate. I think it's got a proper name, but I'm not sure what that is. Just slides on over here like this. I'm just super excited about putting this in. I think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. New boss, of course. I'm going to try and run that boss because my old boss for some reason is getting a bit sticky now, so it's nice to have a fresh one. Of course, got the clutch springs. I'll put those in as well. Need to try and work out a decent way of doing it. Some 6 gram weights. I think also they've got 7 gram, 8 gram. So this is a really cool thing that I've bought. I'm so excited to put this on the Dio now. I think it's going to make a huge difference because I've upgraded the rear pulley and obviously I've upgraded the belt. So obviously the belt's going to ride up way higher. This is going to make a whole lot of difference. Super excited. So it's not a whole lot of really interesting stuff this time. It's mainly a bit of safety stuff, a little bit of sorting out some of the problems that I've got at the moment, like say safety for the brakes, safety getting that new front tyre on there, obviously like say the fueling. And actually I'd like to talk a little bit about the fuel filter that I got, because it's a really good bit of kit. Now it came in at around about 15 USD, so it's crazy expensive, but I was tired of all the cheap fuel filters leaking or breaking, so I decided to go with this one. It really does look the part. I've been told that it's a really great bit of kit, but 550 baht, that's a lot of money for a fuel filter. And of course, I think in the next video I'll do the carb cleaning and show you guys how that works. Not quite sure on that yet, but we'll sort something out as far as videos or instructions for that. Obviously, one other thing is I don't actually have the tools for doing the front tyre or the rear brakes. I just don't have the socket big enough, so I'm going to take that to the scooter shop, which is just around the corner, and get them to do that part. But the rest of it, we're going to go down and we're going to do that now. So let's do this. Right then guys, you can see that I've got the seat box off already, so we can get a bit of access to the fuel line, which I'm going to do first. You can see here, it's all the original parts, the original fuel line. I'm sure it's probably getting old and tired and brittle, so let's replace that part and see how that goes. You can see there how it's actually plumbed in against the frame. So obviously I'm just going to run the new fuel line on the same run as that. So obviously, as you can see here, we've got the new fuel line, TWH fuel line, and the random brand really expensive fuel filter. Now let's get those in and see how it's going to look. Well, I think you'll agree it's made a really nice difference there and smartened up the inside a little bit. It was a super easy job to do. Simply just unplug and plug in the new stuff, and I just followed the original line. As I say, there's some mounts there and it comes up along the frame. I chopped the fuel line, put the fuel filter in. I actually heated up the fuel line a little bit with a cigarette lighter just to make it a bit more flexible so that the fuel filter would plug in really easily. And I think it's done a pretty tidy job. There was plenty of the hose left afterwards as well, so I've got a little plan for that. I'm going to see how that goes, so I'm just going to think about that, and you'll see that coming up later in the video. But as I say, very easy job, and I think an essential upgrade for any old Dios that need some new parts. Okay guys, so now let's back out of here and have a look at how it looks from outside. Doesn't look too bad, if I can hold the camera still for a second. This was the old fuel overflow drain pipe. You can see there that it's got kind of broken and kind of mashed up a little bit, and that's what I want to actually replace and plumb it all the way back to the rear wheel. And obviously here is the pipe that I bought, a few hundred baht, nothing too expensive. And then here's the leftover fuel line, which I'm going to use for something else. So what we're going to do is just plumb all of this pipe work along where these bolts are and leading down to the rear wheel. What I've decided for that excess fuel line is that I'm actually going to plug it in where the oil breather is and get all of the pipes tied together with zip ties or something like that and make it look super cool and super fresh. Okay, so here it is. All the pipe work's plumbed in. I've got the line coming from the fuel overflow, another line coming from the back of the carb. I don't know what that is, but I thought I'd stick it into the line as well. You can see that I've also got the oil breather in there as well, and it's all zip tied up together. The clamps I used were just regular pipe clamps for a wall, so I just bent them and manipulated them into the right way so that they would hold this thicker pipe, which I bought from a DIY store, and then just plumbed all of the pipes through that. And I think that's a great result. Looks a bit different, I guess. Maybe some people will like it, maybe some people won't, but I'm really happy with that as a kind of DIY job for making things look a bit neater. And of course, it serves its purpose for getting the fuel away from the engine area or any hot stuff, because as I say, I've got a bit of an overflow issue. It's another reason why I'm going to take my carb apart. But I'm really happy with this. For a kind of on-the-spot DIY job, I think it looks pretty cool. And it kind of suits in the colouring, kind of. I mean, that's obviously subjective. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, now moving on to the Variator. Let's have a little bit of a side-by-side comparison so we can see if there's any size difference. It's only 3mm. The original was 89mm. The new Variator is 92mm. So hopefully, with all the other modifications I've done, that will allow for a little bit more speed or RPM, but we'll certainly find out once it's installed. So one issue I've actually found with installing this new 92mm Variator is that actually there's a tiny piece of the case that rubs up against the Variator. So what I'm going to have to do is cut that away somehow. Bearing in mind I have no cutting tools or anything like that, I'm going to have to improvise here a little bit so that we can get this to fit and be able to start the Dio up and give it a little test run. So let's see what I can come up with and see if this can work. There's not a whole lot of material that needs to go, and as you can see it's super thin, so I'm thinking if I use like a hacksaw blade or maybe a pair of pliers as well and sort of hacksaw the edges and then bend it out with the pliers, it should snap off and I think it will be fine. And that's pretty much what I did. That's what you can see here. I started doing that. I used the hacksaw just to create a slice out of it and then used the pliers just to snap it off, and it seemed to go pretty good. That's not quite as far down as I want, but I think we'll go a little bit further. Now that's about it there. We've got free movement from the Variator with that much of the case cut away. So obviously if I had a Dremel I think it would be a lot better, but for now that's the best I can do with what I've got. The Variator's spinning fine anyway, so I think I'm just going to leave it at that, put the bike back together and give it a little test to see if it's okay. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've put the Dio back together and it's ready to start. I'm just going to have a little look round and check that everything's okay. You can't really see from here, but the Variator's in there and it's running fine. No resistance on it at all after that last minute case cutting issue that you all saw that I had. But we've got that resolved, so now the only thing to do is to start the bike. So guys, as you can see, the bike's running fine. Doesn't seem to be any issues with the Variator. As I thought there might still be some running issues, but it's fine. I'll take it out for a test run, give it a proper run to see how it goes, but I'm thinking it'll be okay. So guys, this is the end of my new episode of Thai Talk. Of course, like, comment, share and subscribe for more Thai Talk 2-stroke life coming at you from the land of smiles, also known as Thailand. See you next time.